Well, I know we have a couple people from our Cuba team that are going to kick it off today. Let's give them a hand.
Hello. Hear me? I'm going to take it out. I like to move around too much. My name's Matthew. Denise joined me in Cuba back in August for a missions trip. When we went, we didn't really get a lot of heads up about where we were going or what we were doing. A lot of it was because we were going into a communist country, and there's a lot of issues with Christianity in communist countries. So we went there kind of blind and weren't know what to expect. But I always thought missions trip, we're going to go work, we're going to do. And we didn't do anything. We were tourists. It was amazing. But there was a reason for it, because the point of us going there was not to do things, because things were already being done. We went to some of the most impoverished, broken places that I've ever seen or experienced in my life. The people that live in this country, when I say they have nothing, they have nothing. They get 5 pounds of rice for their family every month, a chicken, if they're lucky, beans, rations, everything. They have so little. And you would think in a place like that, there was no hope. You would think in a place like that, that there was only brokenness. But what we got to witness while we were there, amongst the brokenness and within all the poverty, was God working just like he worked way back at the beginning, as he taught us in the book of Acts. There was one man who had put it on his heart that he wanted to teach Christianity to the Cubans. And so he began that mission by doing it the way Christ taught him to do it, to go make disciples who make disciples who make disciples. He started with one man, and he taught them how to teach. And then he taught those people how to teach. And they just kept developing little groups within little communities. And when they had enough little groups, they built a church, because they already had 4 or 5 little groups. And then they would go to another part, and they would do the same thing. They would teach one man, who would teach another man, who would teach another man. One of the people that we went and shared time with was a guy probably about my age, had a wife, kid about 8 years old. And he told us that he spent 2 weeks out of every month doing nothing but walking down the streets, evangelizing to people, and seeking his next disciple, looking for that next person that he can teach to teach others. And we got to witness it. We got to go to home groups in these broken homes that were the size of some people's kitchen, and we're fitting 10, 15 people into these rooms. And the Spirit was just there. The Spirit was there in such powerful, amazing ways. And amongst all the poverty and amongst all the brokenness, these people had hope. They had hope because Jesus was moving in their lives, and because people were loving on each other despite all the hardships. For me personally, there were 2 moments that totally just floored me. The first one was on Sunday when they had their evening services at their church, which is a big outdoor area, patio. And the first service had about 200 people in it. It was amazing. I mean, it was just crowded. These people were flying in the Spirit. And then I'm watching them all leave, and all leave. And then as soon as that group was out, the doors opened, and another 200 people came flooding into the courtyard. It was like I was at a concert watching people storm the stage. I have never experienced hundreds of people flowing into church with such passion and such fire. And that kind of lit me up. That really got me sparked for the rest of the week. The last day that we were there was one of the hardest parts of the mission trip, because we literally went to the most impoverished part of the entire country. And when I say impoverished, Denise will tell you, there were no roads. They were potholes. The houses were just broken, and it's like you would see in these videos of Haiti after earthquakes. Just the way these people lived was just terrible. But this is where we got to go do our door-to-door missions. And the worst part of the area, we got to take bags of food and go to these people and pray for them. I was blessed because Gail Buse asked me to lead one of them. So here we go, walking down this little tiny alley, really tiny alley. And we open up this door, and there's this kitchen and a room attached to it, tiny. And there's 5 people in this kitchen. An old lady, a lady at a table, 2 men, and another guy in the doorway. And they're just like hanging out, waiting for dinner. So we start praying with them, and we invited them to church. We told them why we were there. We told them about Jesus and how to love. And then we went on and we prayed with them. Found out the one lady, her son was there. He was gay. That was his lover that was there. And it was like, oh, we didn't know there were gays in Cuba. But they were. So it was an experience, but we still prayed for them and loved on them. And then we all kind of came back and gathered. And later that night, when they had their first church service in this new building, all 5 of them showed up to that church. And it was powerful for me because we're up front doing, and I see all five. This little old lady, man, she could barely walk, but she had one man on each end of her and just taking her right up to the seats. And all five of them came to that service for the first time. And the one gay man, when he was asked, stood up and received Christ and took the word of God. And it was the single most way that God has used me to bring somebody to Christ ever. I mean, I've been walking this walk for a lot of years and I've impacted people, but to go into a home, to minister to a complete stranger and see them come to church and come to Christ all in the same afternoon, that was it. You know, that's what it's all about. So I would encourage anybody out there who hasn't served, go serve. Go serve, because God's not going to use you sitting there. He's going to use you when you're out there. So thank you for the time and thank you for the ability to testify.
Thank you.